Hey, welcome to an episode of Chad's Beer Reviews. It's this beer that I bought just for the label. This is from Boulevard Brewing, Frozen Raider Double Cold IPA. By the way, it's 8% ABV, 40 IBUs. If you come around to the back, it says Space Camper Frozen Raider, and it has all these hop meters. Apparently, these are all New Zealand hops. Nelson is the only one that I'm familiar with. And on the bottom of the can, it says best before January 15th of next year, if you can make that out. So I pour it into my Spiegel IPA glass, which I feel like I haven't used this in a while. And you can see coming out of the can, it is a clear golden. It almost looks like a lager. Got like a little bit of an amber hint to it, and I pour it a little too aggressively. This is why I keep a coaster around. But, managed to save most of it. In fact, I was able to top it off a little. Before we get into this, I wanted to bring up the brewer's website. So apparently they have like a whole line of IPAs with this space camper theme, which I didn't know about until I started to do this review. So, I mean, they call this one Frozen Raider, but then it says Space Camper Frozen Raider, and if you go on Untappd, they call it Space Camper Frozen Raider too. So, it's like, I might have to do like a whole separate video about this. It's like, what's the name of the beer? Like, I always go by what's on the label. You know, like to me, the name of this beer is Frozen Raider, like subtitle Double Cold IPA. But then Untappd has it as Space Camper Frozen Raider. So let me know in the comments what's the name of the beer. So let's give it a whiff. Actually, let me close this first. There we go. Yeah, they mentioned on the website that it's, because it's all New Zealand hops, has like that Sauvignon Blanc kind of character. So it's like very melony, very green grape. And I would agree with that. It is, melony, melon. Not some girl named Melanie. But I also get definitely a tropical note on here, almost like a tropical fruit juice, like concentrate. I mean, I suppose you could say like grapefruit, something like that, but it's, it's very in kind of West Coast San Diego type aroma. By the way, the whole cold IPA thing is, I guess, like they freeze the hops and doesn't absorb as much water that way. I don't know. If Darwin was here, he could explain it better than me. So let's dive in. Cheers. So yeah, if you're having Sauvignon Blanc wine, similar to that, it's almost like a white grape, but at the same time, a little bit. It's funny because like it smelled tropical and citrusy. It doesn't really taste that much. And oddly enough, I'm getting like a dank character on here. Almost a little like it's like dank, but also a little like peppery or spicy. Yeah, that's an interesting flavor combination. And also, you saw when you poured it. And if you didn't take a good look now, this is not a hazy. It seems like 90% of all IPAs today are hazy, and they have that same tropical flavor and also like that grassy, peppery, spicy kind of thing. But this one. It's a little bit different because this one kind of reminds me of like a little bit of like an East Coast kind of thing going, but like I'm like just a little, but otherwise it is like all kiwi style hop flavor aroma. Yeah, it's actually the more I drink it, the more that dank kind of weed like character really comes out. By the way, this is 8% ABV. The alcohol, I mean, okay, I do get a little bit in here. It is not warming. I had this can sitting out for like 20 minutes or so. If it was going to warm my throat, it definitely would have by now. You really can't tell that it's like that. I'd say like, well, I mean, it's fully flavored. It probably has a flavor of like an 8%, obviously, but it doesn't have like the boozy quality of an 8. And also, it's only 40 IBUs. That's interesting. I would say it has a pretty firm bitterness, not like an aggressive, abrasive bitterness. The New Zealand hops, like, I think they're fairly low in alpha acids, which would explain like why they're more about the flavor and aroma and not so much the bitterness. If you want actual bitterness, you use like Chinook or something. It's interesting, like there's a lot going on here. So it's like a little fruity, a little tropical, but then also kind of finishing with like that dank. I might even go as far as say like catty. Some of those, we say some of the hops have like a cat pee kind of smell to them. A little bit of that here. By the way, I didn't really mention much about the malt because there really isn't much going on here as far as distinctive malt characters. So I mean, it's probably, I would assume, some kind of two-row pale malt, something like that. It doesn't strike me as Pilsner. Yeah, this is really drinkable for 8% ABV. I probably call the body probably about medium. Carbonation about medium, maybe medium low. It's very smooth. It doesn't have like that spastic, effervescence to it or anything. And again, for 8% ABV, like next to no alcohol presence. So it's very, very drinkable. I will say that the hops do linger here, kind of drying out my tongue, a little bit of like a starchy kind of an aftertaste. But otherwise, yeah, this is really tasty. Yeah, I like it. I like the label too. It's kind of a, they use this girl, sorry, and like all the space camper labels. I don't get the reference. Like, to me, it reminds me of like, this is an old school Stray Bullets, like the comic within the comic, the Amy Race Car stories. If you know who I'm talking about, Dave Lapham. This is going back to like the 90s. So if you know who I'm talking about, let me know in the comments. But otherwise, just a pretty cool, kind of comic book or cartoon kind of label. I don't really get it though, because like it looks like a kid. It's like you're maybe a teenager, but it's like, why would you have like a young person on the beer label? Otherwise, still pretty cool. As far as a rating for Frozen Raider, I'm gonna go solid 4. I think I might go 4.25 on this one. I've only had a couple of these so-called cold IPAs, and this one's pretty good. So I did not get this on Beer Drop. I just got this at Total Wine. So, but if you want to check out Beer Drop, link in the description. Otherwise, this is the part where I say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.
Somebody brewed it, Chad just reviewed it. Thanks for watching Chad's Beer Review. Trust me, the next episode will be a lot better.